Check. 1, 2.
The D.
Brief.
This is the D Brief.
Go. Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's
arts and entertainment scene.
This is the D
Brief.
Hello and welcome to The Debrief, your podcast for Detroit concerts, comedy, plays, food, drink, and more. It is Wednesday, June 19th, 2019, and I am your co-host. My name is Seth Ressler.
And I'm Becky Scarcello.
If you've never heard the podcast, she's been in Detroit her whole life. I have not. I'm new here, which means I get to ask all the stupid questions.
No stupid questions.
There are that come out of my mouth.
Maybe some stupid statements.
Yeah, just stupidity in general.
Jokes.
All right, here's what you got on today's podcast. The Wild Awards are coming up, and so we are going to talk to David Kiley of Encore, Michigan, to talk about them. These are the awards that honor basically great theater happening around the state of Michigan.
Live theater. I'm going to tell you about some new spots where you can do some axe throwing.
I'd like to do some of that. Also, a bunch of Hollywood stars that are from Detroit have a lot going on in terms of movies and television shows. We'll tell you a little bit about that.
On Friday, tune in to hear Sean Patrick. He's going to be our guest. He's one of the co-owners of the Willis Show Bar.
And don't forget, we have a mobile app. Go download it. We have it for your iPhone or for your Android phone. And there's a bunch of bonus content in there. You can hear extra interviews that we do, full-length interviews. You can hear segments from stand-up comedians that are local, all kinds of stuff. Go check it out.
And you can also see bonus content on our social media.
Yeah.
Twitter,
Follow
Instagram, Facebook. We got lots of extra goodies on there.
Perfect. All right, let's get into today's show and meet our co-host.
This is the D. The D.
Brief.
Coming back for day number 2, we have an actress. She's also a director, producer, and writer, and the founder of Very Good Entertainment. Naytarsha Berry, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here yet again.
Yeah, welcome back.
Representing Michigan theater.
Hey.
Yes.
So what is Very Good Entertainment?
Very Good Entertainment is a company that I came up with. It was the decision of my son, actually. I would always go around and when I taught acting, and I would tell the actors, you are your own business. You're not clocking in. You're not doing any of that. You should go in there with your own contract. You should tell them what you want. And my son said simply, well, Mom, you say that, but what you doing? And so I created Very Good Entertainment. And it started off with just myself, but then I kind of pulled the kids into it too, my son, my daughter, and got them doing theater as well. And now it has blossomed into Very Good Entertainment goes out and directs plays. Very Good Entertainment shows up to pull your play together. Very Good Entertainment produces. We also act. We have dancers. We have a lot of stuff under Very Good Entertainment now. So
it reminds me of Jay-Z. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's you.
We're a business.
You are a business.
And you're also doing a lot of work with kids, right?
I do a lot of work with kids. It was very heartbreaking that, they took drama and the different activities out of the schools. A lot of kids have a lot of talent that we don't know about and we need to tap into. And we wonder why they're just sitting at home, idle mind. My mom used to always say, idle mind is the devil's workshop. And when I find out from talking to kids that, I want to act or I want to sing or, I love taking that and saying, okay, let me show you how. Let me show you how to do this, And so I have been taking that. Now, that's the other thing Very Good Entertainment has been doing, grabbing kids and teaching them the arts of theater, just because it is an art. A lot of people get wrapped up in movies, and with theater, there is no cut. You just, when you're on that stage, you're on that stage.
Right, no green screen, none
There's
of those
no screen.
suits with
Stop
all
the
the
screen time.
None of that.
funny balls attached to it.
You're just out there on your own, and it can be so fun, though.
Yeah.
It can be so exciting. And let me just say this, not only are we focused on stage, I also teach how to apply makeup. I teach you how to do the sound, what I'm saying? I teach you, costumes, every aspect of theater, because you might not be, a great
An actor. But there's a lot of people that go into a great production.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Now, you came about this honestly, right? Because you've been involved since you were a kid.
Yes, since I was 3 years old.
And how did that help you growing up or change your outlook?
It really made me come out of my shell. surprisingly enough, I'm still very shy. If the mic wasn't in front of me, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. But no, it really helped me to come out of my shell. It helped me to be, just more outgoing. And that's what I see in a lot of kids. It helps them to just blossom,
So many actors and musicians and any kind of performers say that.
Yeah.
And it's just because if you're shy and not necessarily 100% comfortable, the fact that you can be somebody else.
And that's
and
the
use your
thing.
voice in a different way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I tell, even when I am directing, I don't do rehearsals. I don't call them rehearsals. I call them classes. And I tell them, whether young or old, don't get up here and act. I don't want to see that. I want to see you become.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have to be. You can't sit up here and act. When people are acting, you know it. It's like, that really wasn't believable. But how many times have you seen a movie or a play even where you couldn't stand the villain? It's like, oh, he's back. Oh, my God, I can't stand him. Well, he's doing his job because he is becoming that character, and that's very important.
So if, kids want to get into theater around here, or even if parents of kids are listening and their kids want to get into theater, where is a good place to start?
Me. No, that's what I'm supposed to say.
She is
right?
giving out her phone number.
Right.
To
I didn't have my
anyone.
phone number, right? I give it out to everybody. All I have to do is not answer. No,
That's right. That's right.
No, but really, you can contact me at Nay Renee on Facebook, Nay Renee on Twitter, Nay Renee on Instagram. Also, I do want to say this. The Clubhouse Theater is actually holding, that's where I also work out of. We're holding classes in September.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, the classes are pretty intense. They're only 12-hour class. It's a 12-hour class.
What?
Yeah, it's a 12-hour. No, I mean, we break that thing up. But what we're going to do is how we weed out, people who are just wasting time. We're not trying to get parents just dropping your
You're not
kids off.
babysitting.
Yeah.
Right, I understand.
That's the one thing Very Good Entertainment doesn't do. So what our plan is if you say you're interested, we're going to give you a monologue, and we want you to come in when it's time and do that monologue. Now, we're not expecting you to be Denzel, but it's hard to direct if you have a script in your hand. That's your crutch. So if you have enough gall to learn that monologue and get up there and show it to us, then we can say, okay, yeah, we can work with that.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
so
what ages are we talking?
we don't care.
Oh, any. Okay.
We don't care. I mean, I'm thinking a 3-year-old not going to learn the monologue, so
Right.
I'm good there, you
You're
know?
right.
So,
Yeah, right.
so any age, yeah, we don't care. We'll take
Awesome.
them blind, crippled, crazy. It don't matter. Yeah.
Let's also plug a couple of the productions that you're working on right now.
Yeah.
It's starting with Yellow Man.
Starting with Yellow Man. We did Yellow Man in March at the Clubhouse, and some people from the Idlewild Jazz Festival actually came to our show and actually hired us to come to Idlewild, Michigan to perform the July 4th weekend. So we will be up there having fun on July 4th, and then we're working on July 5th and having fun again on July 6th. But we'll be doing Yellow Man there, and that's a Dale Orlander Smith production. Then I have No Vets Left Behind. That's for veterans. What we're doing is a Motown review, where we have veterans coming in, being the Pips, the Temps, the Marvelettes, you name it. And
Awesome.
we're actually doing that show September 21st at Mary Grove College, but we are holding auditions still. We're looking for a Stevie Wonder, which is not easy to find, and the Supremes. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you think you're Diana, come on out. And that'll be June 22nd. That's this Saturday from 1 to 4, also at Mary Grove
And didn't you
College.
say some actual Motown stars are involved?
Yes, we actually landed the original Contours. So they will be performing and only one song.
Okay.
But at least we got them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
signing autographs. So we're excited
Cool.
about that as well.
How tall do you need to be to play Diana Ross?
Not very, I don't care.
Okay.
You can always wear heels.
You can always wear
I'm okay.
Heels
heels.
can transform, as can big hair.
Listen,
I'm in.
for real. And the last production, well, I won't say the last one because hopefully they'll keep it coming.
Yeah.
The other production I have is October 19th at Marygrove College, and it's called When Loving You Is Hurting Me. And it's about domestic violence. It's a very heavy piece by JC Productions.
But important to get people talking about. It's a good vehicle
absolutely.
to do that.
Yeah. It'll actually blow your mind because it's the flip side of that. You know, we always think about the women who are abused, but have you ever really sat and thought about men who get abused as well? Mm-hmm. It happens.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a very good production. So come on out to Marygrove. You know, unfortunately, they're closing down, but come on out.
So I want to ask just real quick, just your take on theater in Detroit in general and the opportunities there are. You know, you talk about getting kids involved. Yeah. Is it a robust situation with acting and writing?
I have to be honest when I answer that question. No, it isn't robust at all. It's a very small community, especially with the African American actors.
Yeah.
It's a very small community. And I do believe that that's because, unfortunately, you know, if your grandma, auntie, and uncle and daddy told you were really good, girl, you believe it and you don't take the opportunity to grow. A lot of times, from what I'm seeing within the community, it's not enough growth. It's not enough workshops. It's not enough classes being taken, you know, to expand yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you're a preacher's kid and then you land a part playing a preacher's kid, you're really not doing anything outside of what you do, you know?
Yeah.
And the same with if you're continuing to play the same role all the time. That's not growth. And that's the problem that we have within the community. So, no, it's not really robust. A lot of theaters don't even know about the Black actors that are very good. Okay. And that's the same way in Hollywood, too. You have your own, you have this handful of actors that they pick from, you know, instead of branching out, you know. So it can be a little hard, but you have to do what you have to do to make yourself stand out. You know,
and we as audience members can support by just going to productions.
Just come to support the theater. You know, so many people don't even know about theater. I have been blown away by people in their 50s, 60s who said they've never been to a play.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you don't have to spend $150 for a play at the Fisher or something.
No, this is not Hamilton, which I love. But,
of course.
You don't have to spend that. You can spend $20 and see a great performance.
Nice.
You know?
Cool. Well, look, we're really excited that you're back on the show.
I'm excited to be here.
Hang out with us and have a good time.
All right.
What is Planet Ant?
I'm the editor for Eater Detroit.
The restaurant critic for the Detroit Free Press.
Caretaker of Say Nice Things About Detroit.
The Detroit Symphony Orchestra.
Detroit Art Week.
WDET 1019.
The Detroit Public Theater.
You're listening to...
And you're listen, blah, blah, blah.
To the debrief or the debrief?
To the debrief.
I said the name wrong.
Okay, let me try that one more time.
The debrief.
The debrief.
The debrief.
I'm so sorry.
All right, Becky, what's going on in the world of food and drink?
So food trucks, that's something I feel like in the last several years has just blown up, right? Now
it's been like a decade now.
Food trucks on every corner, every event now includes food trucks, What do you think, as far as Guinness World Record goes, what do you think is the largest food truck rally ever?
Ever?
Yeah, so far.
Ever?
Mm-hmm. How many?
300?
Yeah. Maybe
400?
400.
Wow, you guys are thinking big. So get this, the record is only 120.
That's it?
That's not a lot at all.
Seems kind of low, right? So the Guinness World Record right now is 120 food trucks for one event, which happened in Tampa, Florida in March 2014. So in Detroit, we are aiming to change that and get the new record. So, and it's going to happen on River Days, which is this weekend.
Nice.
June 21st through 23rd. World's largest food truck rally. So more than 120 food trucks.
Yeah, like 121.
It might be.
By the way, like 85 of them are going to be serving conies.
Yes, or barbecue.
Or tacos.
Or pizza. But so hopefully there'll be a nice mix with that many trucks.
That's going to be hard, though.
Who holds the record? Tampa holds the record?
Some 2-day festival in Tampa.
I wouldn't have even thought Tampa, Florida would be the...
I know, because you can... I don't know.
I was thinking Texas or something.
I don't know.
I would think Texas, too. too.
Yeah, think
because
big.
you have more variety and everything's big in Texas. You know
Maybe
what I'm saying?
LA, but yeah, Houston or Dallas, I would think.
Yeah, so come out and support this weekend.
Wow.
There's even going to be a cooking competition amongst some of the food trucks for creating a Motown themed dish. Hopefully not a Coney. Hopefully it's more creative.
A Motown themed dish
Dish.
on a food truck.
Yeah, they're going to be competing. So
Wow.
It's got to be a play on like song titles.
Yeah, it
Gotta
would have to be. Like
maybe go with the music, right?
tempting wings. Or,
I burned it through the grapevine.
Right.
Right.
like stop in the name of avocado.
Well, you know that whole like
I don't know.
that doesn't have a good ring to it. But, I wouldn't buy that.
No, I wouldn't either. I'm not going to buy it anyway if they don't have. Do they have sinks on the food trucks?
Do they have sinks?
Sinks?
Yes, you have to have a place to
I mean,
wash
it
your
is like
hands.
a roving kitchen, but maybe
I need
don't
that
know,
kitchen to
'cause the
rove with a sink and
plumbing.
soap.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you gotta
I never
wash
thought
your
about that.
No, I'm not going to eat from most of the food trucks.
Right.
You have
'Cause they-
121 to eat from them.
But it's probably not real common,
Oh, but that's not cool.
right? I don't know. Is it?
I'm going to go down and
'Cause you
see
need
it. I'm going to
plumbing.
ask. I'm going to ask.
Well,
Every
I
truck
guess
I
it's
go
like
to.
a
You use the
motorhome.
gel. You use the Purell
That's
or
different,
whatever.
though.
That's
don't
not water.
That's not. God, good call.
Health
You're definitely
inspector
going to eat
over
that
here.
stop in the name of love avocado if they don't have water.
I'm thinking like Papa was a Rolling Stone with the whole like pizza stone.
Oh, that would be cool.
That's where my mind's going.
That would be
but
cool.
You and your avocado or whatever.
I like avocado.
So I got to tell you, though, it's not just about the food, the River Days. So shout out to Detroit Riverfront Conservancy for organizing this. It's going to be even bigger than in past years because they're moving it from the Riverwalk to the West Riverfront Park.
Cool.
Where like the Mopop Festival is, much of other things. It's going through some renovations now, but it's going to be there this weekend. There's also going to be 4 stages of live music, including
Nice.
Smokey Robinson's going to be there.
Oh, cool.
Brandy, Brian McKnight, there's a few of the headliners. There's going to be a zip line, an air show by the Tuskegee Airmen, sand sculptures, all sorts of cool stuff. So check that out this weekend. So speaking of food trucks, there's going to be one on site at all times of 2 new axe throwing places. So we've talked about this before, Detroit Axe. They're there in Ferndale, downtown Ferndale. They have the corner bar restaurant there with the axe.
We interviewed them a while back.
We did,
Yeah.
Jeff Kutchmer. So they have the Detroit Axe on the top there. So these 2 new locations will not have a full-time restaurant, but they will have a food truck permanently. So Corktown is one of the new spots. I think it's going to be something like 7,000 square foot, big facility there on Michigan Avenue near Trumbull. And then there'll be one about half as big in Clinton Township at the Partridge Creek Mall.
Oh, nice.
Have you ever been axe throwing?
No, but I want to go. I really think I'll be good at it. I really do.
Everybody does.
So what I want to know though is there like what am I throwing the axe at exactly? Like can I
you
put
chain somebody to a big wheel and then you spin them around.
Try not to hit them.
nice.
It's like, a giant dartboard with a bullseye.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And when we interviewed them, and from what I've seen, is there's an axe master
Axe
at
master
every lane. So there's no
Cool.
safety, there's no mistakes happening.
that's
They're
good.
they very good quality control.
Nice.
If you're acting drunk, out.
axe
If you're
master
acting the
says
fool,
you're outta here.
bye-bye. So,
That's
and
cool.
they teach you how to do it and kind of.
That's a cool job title.
I know.
I'd like to
Axe
put that on
master.
my LinkedIn resume.
I know, right?
Axe master.
Axe master.
Super cool. So, and at these places, if you're not feeling it with the axe, they're also going to have tons of board games, pinball, the bumper pool, all sorts of other things to do.
cool.
So I love places like this opening up where there's stuff to do besides just sit around and
Yeah,
drink.
like grown up people's games is kind of fun.
I
you
love
know?
the games.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, have you guys heard about this kind of movement to eliminate food waste and have a vehicle for selling like the ugly stuff? Where the
ugly stuff.
the apples with the spats, or like the misshapen carrots, or things like you can't
okay.
find in the grocery store, but they're perfectly edible and tasty. So, there's avenues now to sell that stuff because over 20% of produce grown currently gets thrown away because it's just ugly.
Because it's
It doesn't.
ugly.
Yeah, it's not the right size you think a cherry should be,
Oh wow.
or whatever.
That's so sad when you think about
I know. And
Poor ugly food.
I know it gets the shaft. Plus, think about all the hungry people.
Right.
and we're throwing
exactly.
stuff away. So
crazy.
I love this. This is a passion of mine, and I love that there's another company coming here to sell this kind of stuff. So it's called Imperfect Produce. They're actually based in San Francisco. It's a food delivery company, you know, just like how we get a meal service or something like that, but it's a box of produce. They're adding Detroit to their delivery service,
Nice.
and they're partnering with Gleaners, community food banks.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
yeah. So the statistic they gave is if 2,500 residents sign up for these boxes, the city of Detroit would be recovering about 26,450 pounds of produce each week that would otherwise be wasted.
26,000?
Yeah.
That's a
Isn't
lot
that
of produce.
That is a lot. Of
That is a lot of ugly fruit.
That's a lot of
I know.
ugly vegetables too.
Right, it is.
I would eat an ugly carrot. I have no problem with that.
You
I
would?
know. It tastes
Or-
good.
See?
Yeah.
We call that fruit affirmation.
Listen,
Yes.
Right.
Inclusivity. Fruit
I'm
Yes.
an equal opportunity food eater.
So
See?
you'd eat like a mini avocado because it still would taste like an avocado.
Why not?
But the stores may be like, those are too small.
You know what? You know what I
That's
object
crazy,
to, and
though.
we don't talk about this enough, is that when you get in the checkout line, there's those Martha Stewart magazines,
Yeah.
and there's all the pretty food on the
Yes.
cover,
Yeah.
and then all the ugly food sees that pretty food on the cover,
And they just don't see themselves in it.
Right?
They don't see
They have
themselves.
unrealistic
And that's not
expectations.
fair.
It's not
That
fair.
is not
Right.
fair.
And you know they Photoshop. they
They
Photoshop
totally
that.
do.
Oh,
They
you
totally
know
do.
it all
they're
day.
spraying it with stuff.
Oh my
and
God, to make it glisten and look pretty.
No real food can live up to that.
No.
It's really sad.
It is.
So, yes.
It's not right.
So go support these
Discrimination.
imperfect looking fruits.
I will.
You can customize your boxes. You can start ordering from them because they're going to start delivering June 25th. And I have to get a shout out to a service I've used for the past year called Hungry Harvest, which is another company based in Baltimore. It's been here a while. So now you got two choices to get this stuff, and they deliver it right to your house. And they're going to help local farmers because that's who they're going to be buying from.
So they're going to deliver this ugly food to my house.
Yep. And it's
I got to remember that. I'm
Less
down for the
expensive.
cause, though, when it gets there. Okay. All right. I'm with it.
Who ordered this?
What is this?
this doesn't look like the magazine.
This is the D.
Breathe.
All right, Nate, from time to time, we have somebody call into the show who is an expert in a subject that, frankly, Becky
We
and
are
I are not.
Which leaves a lot of areas.
Yes, there's a lot of areas. I think you're really going to like today's guest, too.
Okay, cool.
He is the editor and publisher of EncoreMichigan.com. This is a website that is all about Detroit theater and Michigan. Covers the
yes.
entire state. They have just announced the nominees for the 2019 Wild Awards. The Wild Awards are happening August 26th at the Hillberry Theater in Detroit. So we invited David Kiley to come on and tell us all about it. David, good to talk to you again.
Hey, thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
So explain the Wild Awards. What is this all about?
So the Wild Awards, think of them as the Michigan Tonys, although I like to think of the Tony Awards as the New York City Broadway Wild Awards myself. But,
Well,
I like that.
I like that too.
It's similar to the Tonys. We award best performances, productions awards to our network of theaters, which at any one time we're covering about 75 to 80 professional theaters in the state of Michigan, and to qualify for a Wild Award, it has to satisfy two requirements. It has to have at least 4 performances, and it also the actors have to be paid. So so we do not cover or include community theater in this process, and we don't really cover any community theater on the website. Sometimes we'll post an audition for certain community theaters, but that's the extent of that.
And what is the process for the award selection?
Yeah. So the process is the team of critics, which there's about 8 of us. We keep notes throughout the year, and then I start a Google Doc at the beginning of each season, and so we keep notes, and then closer to voting time, which was a week ago Saturday, I asked critics to start making their nominations in each category. And so then when we get together in person, we can argue, debate,
Arm wrestle.
merits of plays, musicals, actors, actresses, tech, because we do awards for sets and costumes and lights and all that good stuff.
Do you guys debate quite a bit? Is there general agreement?
Yeah. No, it's gets pretty knocked down, drag out.
Wow.
Because we try to absolutely minimize category ties. So, occasionally we'll have a critic really dug in, and making their case for a particular production or a particular actress or actor. And there'll be somebody else in the room who's kind of equally dug in. Mm-hmm. One of the things I try to do is if along the way, if a critic really thinks that a production, a play is going to contend seriously for best play or best musical, those are the two big ones. Mm-hmm. Then I'll try to get over to see it. And so we have at least two critics who have seen it. Sometimes we're lucky and we get maybe 3 or 4 because sometimes a critic just wants to see, other than the ones they've signed up to review, they'll just want to see a particular show. But so for the ones that are really contending for best play and best musical, we try to get as many sets of eyes on those as possible.
Okay, that makes sense.
So they're still running while you're considering them.
Yeah. So, like as a example, one of our critics, I'll talk about next year's awards. There's a theater in Kalamazoo called Farmers Alley, which is very good theater. They are in the midst of a production of Fun Home, and the critic, we've had 2 critics see it so far, and one of them sent me an email the other day saying, if you can possibly get out to see this, see it, because they think that it will contend.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And if I can, then we'll have 3 people in the room that can argue for or against. So
it's really something that you have your eye on all year long.
Yeah, well, we know what the categories are. So yeah. So if like I saw one of our nominated plays at the Detroit Public Theater was The Beauty Queen of Lean Ann, which ran in
good
May.
Show. Yeah,
and so
saw that.
I saw it and reviewed it, and I knew it would be a contender. So I emailed Patty Nolan, who's one of our critics, and I said, please try to get over and see this so that there's at least 2 of us in the room who have seen it.
So which theaters are leading in the nominations this year? Well,
so this is, I want to say, first of all, that when we are going through all of our categories, one thing I don't do as we're going along, I don't keep track of theaters that are racking up nominations, because I don't want the number that a particular theater is getting to influence us as we get through the categories.
Okay.
So, the leading theater is actually, it's on not the complete other side of the state, but it's a summer theater called the Barn Theater, which is in Augusta. And they led all theaters with 21 separate nominations.
Wow.
And the theater that came in second, I want to call out to people because it was the Flint Repertory Theater, and they just finished their first season after, for many, many, many years, they were the Flint Youth Theater. So they did all youth programming. But Michael Lubars came in about a year and a half ago to be artistic director, and he's done a wonderful job of choosing material and casting actors And so they came in second this year with 15 nominations.
Wow.
And it's a commercial for Flint. I was just up there to see a show, and the space is really friendly that they have on the campus there, of the Flint Institute of Music, and they did some amazing things this year in terms of staging some of their shows, and they're here to stay. I predict that they are going to be a creative powerhouse for many years to come.
That's awesome.
That's really great to hear.
Well, let's talk about something that's happening a little bit closer to home, because I saw this story today. The Detroit Public Theater had commissioned a play called Birthday Candles, and now it's going to Broadway.
Yeah. So look, I just want to say something about the Detroit Public Theater. They came on the scene. They formed around the same time I took over Encore, Michigan, about 5 years ago. And they have done an amazing job from top to bottom, side to side, in terms of not only choosing really great material. They have raised a lot of money. They have a really robust, healthy revenue stream from grants and memberships and things like that. I mean, when I looked at their program this year and saw the amount of money and some of the real prominent donors that they have, Courtney Burkett, who's in charge over there, she's done a phenomenal job of kind of leading that effort. So anyway, so they commissioned a play from a Grand Rapids playwright a couple of years ago called Birthday Candles, and in last year's Wild Awards we had it. We didn't have it as a nominee for Best Play, but the actors, some of the actors in it were nominated for their parts, and we did have it nominated in the Best Original Production category. It did not win, but it was nominated. It's phenomenal. I don't know how they got so fortunate with this, pickup in Broadway. I think it's the Roundabout Theater, but their principals, their creative principals, I know are well connected in New York. But being well connected doesn't get you a run of a show, a brand new show. I mean, it helps. It helps to be able to get the meetings, but the play is very good, and it checks a lot of boxes for what I think it takes to get a new play, picked up that way. It's a play about a woman who is it looks at her life over the years as she celebrates her birthdays. And it's one of those, it's very heartfelt. It looks at, but it's very well written. It looks, it explores things like missed opportunities. And it reminds me of that, there's a saying, I think it goes, life is what happens when you're focusing on your dreams, or
busy making other plans.
Yeah, it's a variation on that idea. It also reminds me a little bit, frankly, of It's a Wonderful Life, because she, in the beginning of the play, she's got these dreams to do all these big things, but and she avoids getting involved with a young man, because she doesn't want to get tied down. But, we find out in the play, and this is not a spoiler. I'll just kind of say this much, that, she winds up living not the life that she had dreamed of when she was 20. And
I think all of us over a certain age, that's not a spoiler.
Don't we all? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we all. That's only a spoiler if you're like 22.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. But it's like this. But what counts and why it got from where it was to where it's going to be in New York is that the writing is quite good. So and that's, to me, I love reviewing I love reviewing plays whether I've seen them done 50 times or see it for the first time. Maybe because I'm a writer myself, I zone in on whether the writing's any good. Because frankly, in this market, 99 times out of 100, we have terrific actors in this market at the professional theater level, and the acting is almost always going to be there. It's just a question of maybe whether the right actor was cast, but for a particular part. But what I really look for is the writing, and the writing here is very good. There are shows that are really successful out there and get done all the time in all 50 states, where the writing, I personally think, is terrible. It's awful, but they still get done because they hit some lowest common denominator idea of entertainment. It's like it's bad sitcom writing, but it winds up with a long tail of success. I'm happy to say for Detroit Public Theater and for this play, Birthday Candles, the writing is actually very good.
And let's give a shout out to the writer. The writer's name is Noah Hadel.
Yeah.
From like
Noah
you said.
Hadel, I'm sorry, he's out of Grand Rapids. I've never met him, but he was nominated for a Wild Award last year for the script.
In the theater world, does this mean something for Detroit Public Theater? I mean, because this is a big deal. It's the first time this has happened out of Detroit, right?
It's not only listen. This is one of those things. I mean, even though I live out in the Ann Arbor area, I'm a huge fan of Detroit and of the Renaissance of Detroit, and a huge booster. And I'm very very plugged in and aware. Something like this, for a theater to really burst on the scene 5 years ago. And to do the level of work, to achieve the level of financial success that they have in terms of support, and now this creative success on top of it is it's stupendous for the Detroit Public Theater and for the city of Detroit.
And we haven't even mentioned who's going to be starring in this play when it goes to Broadway.
Right.
It's Deborah Messing from Will and Grace.
From Will and Grace. And, I've seen her. I was a fan of her in Will and Grace. I'm also a fan of, I can't remember what I saw her. I know I saw her in a play. It's hard sometimes. I see like 80 plays a year.
It's a lot.
But
It was the one with the Stan Lee cameo.
Right.
Very good. She's a very good stage actress. So having seen the play, she's very well cast in this part. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see if we can get up a crew of actors and writers from here to kind of go and try to be there on opening night. So
Yeah, what is the timeline for it? Do you know when it will?
just let's see. I'm not sure that they.
I know it's
They
in next
picked
year.
it.
I just don't know when.
Yeah, next year, but I don't know that they've set kind of an opening.
We'll have to organize a big tour bus.
Yeah.
Head out.
Oh, it looks like April.
It's
of next year.
Oh, okay.
we're having some nice success out of Michigan. I mean, we had actress from Detroit who just won a Tony and to Kill a Mockingbird, and Jeff Daniels was nominated and probably should have won, I think, but
Dominique Morisseau nominated for 12.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Dominic Moore. So she's on the board. She's on the creative board
Yeah.
of Detroit Public Theater, and they've done some of her plays. And I think next season,
this September they're doing Paradise Blue.
Paradise Blue. They're doing Paradise Blue. Yeah. But yeah, I was just I'm just looking at our story to see if they pin down when exactly the opening is, but
We just looked up that it's next April.
Yeah.
oh, it's April.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Cool. Well, look, David, thank you so much for calling in to check in. We always love you having you on.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to the Wild Awards. Again, that's happening August 26th at the Hillberry
August
Theater.
26th at the Hillberry. Speaking of Detroit, we've been in the Berman Center for Performing Arts in West Bloomfield for the last 8 years, but we had a change in the relationship there. So now we're at the Hillberry this year, and I want to give a little shout out to Between the Lines newspaper and Pride Source Media, because they founded Encore Michigan almost 20 years ago, and they continue to be a sponsor of the Wild Award show, because they enable us to be able to have it in a great venue. The Berman until now, and now the Hillberry. And then we've been in talks for next year's Wild Awards to have it up at the Flint Institute of Music. So I'm going to be happy to sort of move I love Detroit, but Flint is kind of a second city.
Yeah.
And share the love.
And we can't do enough. We can't do enough to support what's going on at Flint. And
Correct.
so
True.
I've talked to them about having the award show up there, and they're very happy to host us. They've already told us. So
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Well, thanks for checking in, David. We really appreciate it.
thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
This is the Deep Brief.
Nay, let's talk a little bit about Michigan Podcast Productions. This is something that Becky and I started.
Cool.
Because we had so many people coming in, and they enjoyed being on the podcast.
Yeah, people love it.
We like to think that we're fun to hang out with.
Yeah, you guys are great, actually.
Oh, thank you.
You.
Yes.
So, and people kept saying, hey, we want to launch our own podcast. So,
Yeah, audio's a great
Yeah.
medium. Everybody has something to say.
Right.
Yeah.
So we figured that we would do that. And in particular, we wanted to focus on arts and entertainment organizations, because we think that if you've got fans, whether you are a restaurant or a museum or a band or a comedy club, whatever it is, this is a way to reach out and keep in touch with those fans, even though they might not see you every night performing or doing whatever it is that you do. This is a way to stay top of mind, is to launch a podcast. And so we put together MichiganPodcastProductions.com. You can head over to that website, MichiganPodcastProductions.com. And there's a lot of info there on how to create a podcast. And if it's something you would like help with, shoot us an email. Go to the contact page.
We're not going to actually give out our phone number right now.
We're not going to give out our phone number.
But we will if you email us.
We will. You know what? I'm embarrassed to say I still have a Rhode Island phone number.
See, that's not cool.
that's
It's not
sweet.
cool.
That's not cool.
That's not embarrassing.
It's not, well, it is when it's called
kinda.
Michigan Podcast Productions.
Then when you break it down like that, I guess it is.
Okay. I'll
Don't
give
tell
them my
anybody.
number.
That's what people want anyway.
The Deep Brief.
All right, let's talk about some of our big Hollywood stars that have come out of the Detroit area, because there have been a number of them over the years.
Lots. Yeah, lots.
And all of a sudden, a lot of them seem to have active projects. So here are some of the things that are happening in film and television when it comes to Detroit. Tim Allen, who of course is from here, got his start at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was in Royal Oak at the time when he got his start, but that's where
I
he
feel
got
like
his
it
start.
wasn't, but yeah.
In fact, Mark Ridley told us the story. This is one of those bonus episodes that you can hear if you download our mobile app.
Oh, cool.
Told us about how the very first time that Tim Allen performed, he went and he pulled a tile up from the floor. From his
As like a
very
souvenir.
first, as a souvenir from his
souvenir.
first performance, and
wow.
he still has that to this day.
Now, did he go back and fix that?
I don't know.
No?
Well, he did go to jail later for something else.
Yes,
so.
he did.
All right, then.
Anyway, yeah, he did. He did.
did.
He did time, but he's having a good week this week because he is reprising his role as Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 4,
Sweet.
which opens this week. Are you a Toy Story fan?
Love,
Toy Story,
love,
yes.
love.
Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond.
Me and Nay are biggest fans of the Toy Story.
So
Yes.
I was surprised to see this because this is the fourth installment, and usually the fourth movie in
It's
the
like,
series.
meh.
Like enough. That's
right.
enough.
Yes, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's amazing.
Crazy. How many movies even get that?
Well, I saw 4 did not get 100% on Rotten
Really?
Tomatoes.
And I love Saw too. I really do. But wow.
100%.
So the plot is that Bonnie, who's the kid that owns the
Yeah.
toys,
Yeah.
she creates a toy by gluing eyes onto a fork at like kindergarten or whatever it is.
okay.
And then Woody, who's Tom Hanks' character, shepherds him into the group, and it goes from there.
Our friend Greg Russell, the movie guy who
Yes.
does Live in the D and Movie Show Plus and all that, he had a cute picture of himself. So he went and saw the premiere and got to interview some of the actors. And
cool.
he made a little fork with that. Like they had a little project.
wow.
They had projects.
Yeah, they had a little homework. Yeah.
Well, the thing that's apparently stealing the show is Keanu Reeves, who has a cameo.
All right, wait. Okay.
You gotta be kidding.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Neo.
Wait, he's
Neo's
stealing
stealing
the
the
show.
show.
And they got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
Is this an alternative universe?
Yeah, something's going on in the world.
He plays a character called Duke Kaboom, and what's going viral on the internet right now is a video of him doing the voice acting, the narration.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. It's over the top.
Oh.
No.
You're an actress. In your professional opinion,
And so I'm
would you like to render judgment on Keanu Reeves?
Yes, I would.
He's not from Detroit, so we can say whatever.
And it'll be okay. And if I ever get a chance to meet him, I'll still say I said this. Because that's how I am. I just don't. Keanu, every time I see him, he's Neo. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those actors.
One-dimensional.
That's really one-dimensional, straight.
Well, sometimes he's Bill or Ted or which one was he?
Oh.
See, that's the same
Yes.
dude,
Yeah.
though. That is the same
John, and
dude.
the John Wick.
John Wick,
Just with guns. It's
He's
the
like
same,
this
yeah.
California guy, and I love California, but he's like this California dude.
Well, wait. Let's hear you say "whoa."
Whoa.
Nice.
See, I can do it.
There you go.
Sign me up.
Another famous Detroiter, Kristen Bell, who's actually from Huntington Woods.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I always tell the story that she won cutest baby in the 4th of July parade.
Did she really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of a number of projects that she's worked on over the years. Her NBC show, The Good Place, which is amazing. This is the smartest
I know, you always
comedy
love
I
that,
have
yeah.
ever seen. This
Really?
She's in it with Ted Danson from Cheers, which
He's
was
cool.
Wow.
another comedy that
I like
loved.
him. I
yeah,
do like
you will. This show is amazing. I mean, I don't even want to tell you what it's like, except it's about what happens to you after you die.
Oh.
And it gets weird from there, and there's a lot of twists and turns. They have decided that they are going to wrap up after the upcoming 4th season.
Okay.
Which I guess they just decided, look, we're
done.
We're done. We haven't. We've told all the stories that we have to tell, and we don't want to stretch this out. Which I
Yeah.
think is a good move. Having
Yes.
seen Lost, which I loved.
So many
the beginning
shows
and
drag out
just
too
stretched.
long.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They do.
So the 4th season premieres on September 26th. But don't worry, there's lots of other Kristen Bell to take advantage of.
Okay, cool.
Veronica Mars.
I remember that show.
That was her breakout role.
Yeah.
Right.
She was
plays.
young, yeah.
She was young. She plays.
awesome in that.
This basically girl in high school who's a detective. Her
Yeah,
father's a
sleuth.
detective.
Yeah.
And she was amazing. This was the sort of girl power heir to Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Which
Nice.
also I loved very
Yes,
much.
she was great at it. Season 1 and 2 were fantastic. Season 3 it fell off a little bit. There was a movie. They held a Kickstarter. I actually gave money. I donated money
No
to
way.
that,
Really?
and I never saw the movie.
I never saw the movie.
Well,
No.
now there's a 4th season coming on Hulu.
Oh,
Wow.
like they're going to film
They're going to create
today.
a brand new 4th season
Wow.
with her reprising the role at her current age.
At her age.
Yeah.
Not in high school
Wow.
anymore.
Not in high school anymore.
That's
but a
interesting.
lot of the same actors and actresses. So on July 1st, if you've never seen Veronica Mars, you can go back and watch it. Hulu's going to start streaming the 3 original seasons and the 2013 movie.
Oh, that's cool.
And then at the end of July, July 26th, they'll introduce the brand new season with 8 episodes.
Cool.
How cool.
And if you want more Kristen Bell,
Why not?
she's also coming back for Frozen 2. That's not out
Really?
till November 22nd. She, of course, plays Anna, but the trailer
Huge.
has dropped now.
That's
for
amazing.
Frozen
People
2.
really, really enjoyed Frozen. So,
Oh,
my
that song.
like, oh my God, that song.
Let it
I-
go.
Let it go. Please.
I went to Las Vegas and I Airbnb'd with this family on a trip to Las Vegas. And I didn't realize I must have accidentally hit the Google Translate button and not realized it because the family did not speak English
Oh, wow.
at all.
Oh, wow.
Right? And it was a couple
Okay.
and a little girl who was 2 or 3.
Okay.
And she knew every word to Frozen to let it go.
I think everybody
Yes.
knows the words to even if you didn't see the movie,
She
you
would
know
watch
the
it
words.
Yes,
over and
it's
over
just-
You know
again.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Permanent, yeah.
That movie really took off. I mean,
Yep.
wow.
So that'll be
And
back.
Kristen Bell did a children's song also with a Detroit musician, and it's something about like farting or pooping or
Oh,
something.
well, look. Well, we were frozen
Sounds
and
like a
now we're
hit.
farting.
Yes.
and pooping. Okay.
Yeah. So I know you can find that on her pages as well.
You know I'm going to look because now I want to know.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's talk about John DeLorean.
All righty.
So I will confess, when I think of a DeLorean, I think of Back to the Future. That's really
Yeah.
all that I know is it's
Same,
the
really.
car
I
that
mean,
they
yeah.
built the time machine out of with the weird doors that open up.
Well, and I do remember it just being an 80s thing, like definitely
Yeah.
seeing it in the papers.
But I don't actually remember the run of the car or what that was supposed to be about. I
kinda do.
don't really know
Yeah.
the story.
I don't either. I remember it like you do with the Back to the Future, which was hot, but
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
After that.
so now there is a new film that's going to fill us all in on it.
Okay.
It's called Framing John DeLorean, and it's showing at the Main Art Theater in Royal Oak. It actually, it just came out at the beginning of the month, been limited release. This is one of those art house films, but it's part documentary, part recreation. Alec Baldwin is actually going to play John
How cool
DeLorean.
is that?
perfect.
I love him. He's so amazing.
And for people who don't know, John DeLorean was he was at General Motors. He managed the development of the Pontiac GTO and the Firebird and the Grand Prix and a bunch of other cars. He was the youngest division head in GM history. And then he went and started his own car company in 1973 because he's like,
Yeah,
I can do this.
I think. Well, you guys weren't here, in Detroit. I think that had to do with maybe that I know more about it too. Like, it was
Probably.
just,
Yeah.
Probably. So, and I get the feeling that he was kind of a playboy. I mean, he
Oh,
was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to be, right?
marrying 4 times and models and this and that and the
Yeah,
other thing.
yeah.
But the car company was not successful. Production delays. The first car doesn't come out until 1981, and then he gets arrested for cocaine.
Got
and-
arrested.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, whole thing. So
Wow.
yeah, he actually passed away in 2005. His ashes are over in Whitechapel Cemetery in Troy. But if you want to see the film, like I said, it's going to be at Main Art Theater, and we watched the trailer. It looks
compelling.
It looks.
I want to go see it as
Yeah.
soon as I can.
It looks
yeah.
amazing. And then the last star is not actually from Detroit, but doing something for the Michigan area. That's Will Smith.
Love him.
Who I love very
Will
much.
Smith's studio has given the green light to a film called Flint. And it is actually set against the Flint water crisis.
Sure.
That's the backdrop for this film.
I've been waiting when someone's going to do a movie about this.
Yeah.
I mean,
there
it
was a lot of
seems-
talk about it in the air, but no one ever locked down on it. So,
So
it's
this
good
is
to
it.
hear that Will Smith's doing that.
Yeah.
And Will's son, Jaden, was also on Ellen earlier this month. He announced that he is donating a water box to the city. So what a water box does is it supplies 10 gallons of filtered water in a minute.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which they need because they're still
Absolutely.
in places relying on bottled water.
That's
and everything
amazing
else.
that they're still, after all this
Oh,
time.
years.
Yeah.
So
Right.
That's
yeah.
great. That's great.
So good. A lot going on in Hollywood from Detroit. And
Look at Hollywood.
yeah,
Nice.
doing some good.
This is the D.
Detroit.
This is the D.
Brave.
There it is. Show number 2. Nay, you are a natural at this.
I know. This
Yeah, I
flew
love
by
this.
too fast. I want you to come back.
I know. I'm like, oh, we're done.
I know.
Wonk, wonk. No, that,
Well, we're not done yet. We still have something else.
okay.
We'll get. It's the allergies. The Claritin wears off.
Yes. It's getting late here, folks.
Look, we of course talk about a lot of things on this podcast. If you head to our website, thedebriefdetroit.com, while you're there, sign up for our email list. We will email you links to everything that we talk about in the show.
Yeah, thanks for everybody for signing up. We've gotten a lot of signups
We have.
recently.
People want to know what's going on.
Yes, and we
Cool.
include lots of bonusy stuff there in those emails too.
Yes.
Or you can text the word Detroit to 444-999 and sign up for the email list that way.
Sweet.
All right, Nay, last thing, we're going to play a little game. Are you ready?
Yes. That's what I'm supposed to say. Yes.
She's well trained.
Yes.
All right, here we go. We're going to ask you for a series of rapid-fire recommendations. Just tell us the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Starting with this, you like to say you're a business.
I am.
Where is your favorite place in the Detroit area to go for a business lunch?
I love fat salmon sushi in Hamtramck.
Ooh.
Yes, and let me tell you why. I love that because that's what I'm supposed to do. I love it because it's quaint. The food is delicious. You can bring, like, if you start off with a normal business meeting, you can bring in your own alcohol.
I love that. Yeah.
I know, right? You could, and they don't rush you out of there. You could sit there all day, have good food, your own drink, and they're just so nice in there. And then they play wonderful Japanese videos. And you don't know what they're saying, but it's the most entertaining thing you ever saw in your life.
All those game shows. Okay, if you could create your own line of Detroit T-shirts, and I know you got some ideas, what would the slogan be on it?
Well, you know what? That's funny that you say that. I actually know a person who I love their line. It's called Detroit We're Everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and every now and then he calls me up. His name is Howard Watson, and his place is right on Jefferson, right in the heart of Jefferson, right past Belle Isle. And the concept is so great because me and like Seth, not being from Detroit, he has these new shirts that Detroit We're Everywhere, but it's like by way of wherever you're from. Like Detroit by way of, for me, Boston.
Yeah.
You know, it's so cool. And I like that because here I am, you know, in Detroit, and it's just nice to represent, but also represent your own place as well. Yeah, so, Detroit, we're everywhere.
Nice. You are a playwright.
I am.
Tell us about another playwright besides yourself in the Detroit area, a playwright that other people should know.
I'm a big advocate for Dominique Morisseau. I love what she does. I mean, she's wrote Detroit 67, Pipeline, Paradise Valley. Paradise Blue, which is about Paradise Valley. She's just phenomenal, and her way of writing is, and for her to be out of Detroit, I mean, Cass Tech alumni.
Yes.
And now she's on Broadway, man, like with Ain't Too Proud to Beg. So, yeah, she is my go-to all day long. But there are a lot of other great playwrights that just want to say, I just don't know all of you.
All right. Unfortunately, it has been raining nonstop.
Yes, it has.
Okay. So if you can't get outside, what's your favorite rainy day place to go in Metro Detroit?
If I can't get outside?
Yeah.
Rainy day place to go in Metro Detroit. You know what? I know it's another sushi place, but I got to tell you guys, it's really good. It's Nambi's. It's Nambi's it's in Midtown. Right by Cast and Wayne State area. Really good place on a rainy day to just chill, have some udon noodles, and which I don't eat because they're really hot. But
okay.
But I recommend them for
I thought it was going to be about sinks. I was like,
because they're dirty. Okay.
You know how I feel about those sinks. But no, it's a really good place to go and just chill. I love places where they don't rush you.
I know, that is phenomenal and kind of rare. Yeah.
Yeah, very rare.
do you have a favorite boutique clothing store?
It's called Exquisite, and it's spelled really funky like.
Oh, yeah, I know that place.
Yeah, it's right off Coolidge. Great. I love it because you'll go there and won't find your stuff on other people's backs.
I love that. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I love that.
You don't want to be walking around.
No.
I live in Oak Park. I gotta
it's
go check.
close.
Oh, it's great.
close.
It's great.
What is a hidden gem in Detroit in terms of a venue or a place that you don't think people know about, but you really like?
Traffic Jam. I still like that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Traffic Jam and Snug?
Yeah. I like that place.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun. You know, you can still have a good time. Everybody, it's kind of like Cheers.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows everybody. So it's
The
really
owners
cool
are
thing.
great.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
owners are great. I love that place.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite local coffee shop?
Detroit Cafe. It's Java House. Is right by the Redford Theater. Her name. She is married to George. He does all the renovations of homes.
Yeah, George Johnson? Or
No. Oh, I feel so bad. John George is his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his wife Alicia has the Java House, and it is actually really good. good. They have good sandwiches there. And it's also another good place when it's raining. But they have, and they don't rush you. They have,
And they have sinks.
They wash their
yeah. But they have great flavored coffee, smoothies, you name it. And there's always artists in there doing stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's right in the artist village area. It's great.
How about favorite waterfront activity? Do you like to be along the riverfront?
I do. I don't like bugs, but I always got to tell you that. But
Duly noted.
yes. But I like going. I actually really enjoy, especially how Belle Isle is now. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't really like Belle Isle that much. I didn't because, it was a lot of hanging out and stuff, and it didn't really seem family friendly. But now, Belle Isle is beautiful. I love the landscaping that they've done, and it just looks so clean. I love it. And so I love going down there and just sitting on the rocks that are all broken up right at the edge of the water. Beautiful. And I love, and I don't know how many people do, I love the Belle Isle Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would rather go there.
Hipster Beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much fun. So much fun.
All right.
I won.
Big prizes.
Big prizes.
Big prizes.
We'll tell you later about
It's a bug.
No bug. He's so cruel to our guests.
And a dirty sink.
Oh,
And a dirty
man.
sink. Well, look, we got to say thank you to David Kiley of Encore Michigan
So
for
great,
coming on and telling us all about the Wild Awards. And thank you to you, Nay.
Thank
Yes,
you guys.
it's a pleasure.
This has been so fun.
Once again, plug the things you got going on.
Okay. Once again, I have Yellow Man, Dale Orlando Smith production in Idlewild, July 5th and 6th. 4th, 5th, and 6th. I have No Veterans Left Behind. It's a mouthful,
Yeah.
No Veterans Left Behind Motown Review at Mary Grove College. That is September the 21st. And I have When Loving You Is Hurting Me, also at Mary Grove College, October the 19th.
And the theater again?
Clubhouse Theater, 107177 West McNichols, also known as 6 Mile.
Yes.
Why, I don't know.
And and people can follow you at Nay Renee.
At Nay Renee on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it's been great to have you on.
And good to have a theater person, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, this has been a blast. Thank you, guys.
Good.
All right, until next time, Detroit's moving.
Keep up.
The Debrief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.
Hi, Craig Foley here. If you're listening to the Debrief podcast, well, I've got two things to say to you. One, you have impeccable taste. Two, you care about the community that is Metro Detroit. That's why I think you'd appreciate my daily show, The Craig Foley Show on Deadline Detroit. Every weekday, I tackle the big issues in politics, business, arts and culture, sports. Whatever's on the mind of Detroiters and Michiganders, we will talk about it. It's all open for discussion. And keep this in mind. News doesn't have to be boring. Sure, we talk about serious stories and we have interviews and commentary, but we do it in a way that, if I'm doing my job right, is informative but also entertaining. Check out The Craig Foley Show on Deadline Detroit for news, knowledge, hopefully some fun tossed in.
Interested in hearing from folks in the craft beer industry? Tune in monthly to the Beer Tour Guy podcast. I'm your host, Steve Johnson, and I'm the owner-operator of Motor City Brew Tours. And since 2009, I've taken 25,000 people to enjoy the best beer, cider, and mead being made in Southeast Michigan and beyond. On the Beer Tour Guy podcast, monthly I interview folks working in the industry where you can learn more about what's going on in the industry and in other tours that I'm offering in my tour company. If you'd like to learn more about our show, Beer Tour Guy, or Motor City Brew Tours, visit motorcitybrewtours.com.